that when you go, favorite hero is Pachimari. Yes, that's not a hero. Yes, that is correct. But you want to know when you go into trials that you've made the most of this time.
I really wanted Apache's favorite hero to be
Pachimari.
To be an attack helicopter.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Yeah.
I think
someone take him away. Someone remove him.
D.Va's the closest thing there is in this game to a helicopter. No,
I would have thought Fire is kind of like an attack helicopter, but no team's going to be running that. Both teams going to be coming up the gates with a Sombra, but only one of them is super low.
Yeah, and it's a little bit rough out the gate. Boombarappa going to get picked up as well, and I mean, to put a trend out there, Boombarappa does go down a lot in these early fights. I mean, even in most fights, he's often the first casualty statistic. I think he's barely going to be able to remake here.
That being said, it is also Boombarappa's job as a tank to be that person that goes down so your teammates do not. But in this case, I mean...
You're not quite getting that second part there, right?
Yeah, your teammates are also still going down here. Look for the early ult charges now from DeToNator.KOREA. That was a pretty smooth push, pretty expected from DeToNator.KOREA as well. Already into a pause, so maybe a couple issues there for one of the teams, but just even off the small amount of gameplay that we've seen now on the opening map of the series. Look, Bazaar kind of just walked out of that one. They said, well, we're kind of losing here. A couple members did, and we're gone.
Goodbye, yeah. I mean, I think this game should have 2 attack helicopters.
Helicopters.
We're not going back to this. But yeah, we currently do have the pause out. We will hopefully get to the bottom of that before too long.
What are you trying to say, like Overwatch in like 2028, it's just going to be 6 heroes flying? It's going to be all air. There's no one on the ground.
Like that's when they truly changed the game up. It's like, all right, now all heroes also have a helicopter. Like with D.Va, you got to kill the helicopter, then the mech, then the pilot form.
And then actually, the mech, D.Va comes out of
the the Match Kioshka D.Vas.
Yeah, an even smaller D.Va than the D.Va. That's amazing.
That would be something else altogether. But yeah, pause is resolved without too much delay. And now it's not Sudusami. You saw him booking to the point. Yep.
Yeah, he got Pichu'd, and Korea, look, it's just waiting time. It's waiting time for at least 6 members. Bazaar, look, they definitely need all 6 members. They're not one of those teams that are going to be able to run in with 5 here and really contest it. And Korea already waiting for that first EMP. Blitz is happily farming that up.
Happily farming it. Like, everyone else is playing Overwatch, he's playing Stardew Valley. That's already Boombarappa dead at the top of the fight statistic to follow, and then Pichu as well. Really just a bit of a whitewash there in favor of DeToNator.KOREA.
Modern's off the team.
Yeah, that's it. No, he's going to get raised back up, but like, you get one more chance.
Next death, you're off the roster.
That's it. See ya. Back to Korea.
So right now, what's important to note is that Natsuda-sama does have an EMP, so Bazaar have the opportunity to come back in here. One good EMP, shutting down specifically Apache, and probably Sleepy Bear you want in there as well, is going to be very important. DeToNator.KOREA have to be wary of certain win conditions on the Bazaar side, including now Panties with the Transcendence.
And that's the thing, they do have to respect these resources that they wrote up. There's the commit, and no respect given, it seems, because Natsuda-sama's already low, Pichu's already dead. Apache wasn't caught in it. He was able to pull out the Transcendence, and they're already butting back without a single casualty. DeToNator.
Easy counter as well. You notice that Apache and the rest of DeToNator.KOREA, to be quite honest, they expected the EMP to come through. Now, they're not completely aware of what percentage point it's on, but there is enough respect from DeToNator.KOREA to say, while it should be close enough, get Apache as far away from the team as possible out of the EMP range, then come in to save everybody else. Do not use any other ultimates.
All right, well, it's 99%, and they're going to be walking straight into a Deadeye. It's high noon. Ooh, good sound barrier, yes. Doesn't let anyone die in that rotation there, but there's also going to be Transcendence just to get everyone onto the point and grouped up. They still need to actually convert from that point on. Oh, man, the clicks from Daheem. Apache as well, getting one for good measure.
Modern out of nowhere. The Cooper Stomp. That looked painful.
And that's going to be the first point going over to DeToNator.
Oh, man, that scared me a little bit. I did not see that.
Gave you a fright?
Just pop, just straight on.
Like, you see the flashbang, like that was a true bait and switch. You see the flashbang, you're like, now Daheem's gonna headshot him. Boom, just out of nowhere, man. Oh boy. It's like the evil villain is doing their big speech, and then like a hawk comes down out of nowhere and just plucks the hero up and kills him.
Yeah. Oh man.
Flies away.
Great interpretation of a hawk there as well.
It's my hawk impression.
Yeah,
it's not as good as some of my other impressions.
Look,
I've
lost many a character to a hawk in Oregon Trail, so I feel you.
No, if only
that
you
and
could,
Dysentery.
if only, I was going to say, if only you could
two
kill
biggest
people
killers.
of Dysentery in Overwatch, that would be the real
The
killer.
two biggest kills, like I've never really made it to Oregon. Never made it that far.
I think Sleepy Bear just likes dancing as Lucio, because that's twice now he started on Lucio and then swapped onto...
Okay, now there is a reason. That's because he's speeding the team out and then flying to them using the speed boost first.
And also dancing, which is important.
Yeah, I mean the second part's also there.
Because
the functional part counts
there's the
first.
speed boost and the morale boost. And now, and you can see that already in the fight.
And the morale boost does not work on a cooldown.
It is actually Bazaar doing fairly alright in this fight. DeToNator.KOREA have got the positioning on the point. Bazaar need to not just back off and let themselves get corralled in the corner here. They need to keep the damage on, but they've chosen to kind of funnel themselves in there. They didn't need to give up that space.
Well, now they need to reposition right. They're going to go around that backside with the same tanks, with the same DPS. In fact, they're not. They're going to go for the big flank.
This is a spicy one, trying to get right into the thick of it, and not quite getting the kills straight out the gate, not quite converting off that surprise factor. So now DeToNator have been able to kind of wheel around, and that just means Bazaar are in a point at which they cannot retreat from as the spam damage starts to come in.
Now, the problem here is Daheen and Blitz will not be able to challenge. However, on the Bazaar side, both their DPSs are in trouble. Look at already going down.
When did Tsurusama die? Oh, it's Panties first? It's almost criminal that Tsurusama got down to like 10 health at the start of that and is the last person to die.
Now, there's another problem with taking that approach in the nostrils as well, and that's for Bazaar, because they're stuck in that back room. DeToNator.KOREA, first of all, yeah, the DeToNator.KOREA DPS is safe, but also, like you mentioned, Bazaar have nowhere to go. Also, DeToNator.KOREA already capped the point, so if Bazaar is stuck there, they cannot challenge the point. All the percentage points go up in DeToNator.KOREA's favor, already over 50%. I mean, Bazaar get about 2 more attacks at this rate.
It's like when you hear something surprising, your eyebrows go all the way up, and then you hear something even more surprising, you got nowhere to go. That's it. You're out of options. Bazaar, they've really got very little to push with in this situation as well because the composition changes. They've got to get a lot out of this nano boost, and they're going to be going into a Riptire here. Zombie's already dead as well to Blitz. Daheen getting picked up by, getting the pick on Pichu rather. And the Riptire do what Riptire do. Bazaar do get the cap in here. It's not going to last them long, though, unfortunately.
It is a cute play, though. It does slow things down somewhat. 6 seconds and 6%.
They didn't get
by
completely
themselves. And the thing is, for Bazaar, yeah, they get to say they got progress. And for Bazaar now, they still have that last push. They still get that one extra push. With that one, at least, ultimate they've banked up from Panties. I don't know if they're going to get any of the other DPSs. Importantly, they really need a blade from Tsurusama, but there's not enough time to build one.
Yeah, they're just going to have to really kind of force their way through this fight. You know, the tough pill to swallow, as it were. The self-destruct out from Sadistic was just a little bit in front of that shield, and it means no conversion as Krong is going to answer some back.
And Modern's off the team.
Yep, that's it. Goodbye, Modern. We're sick of it. But they are going to get the cap. They are going to get the hold. They are going to get the win. That's going to be the ball going the way of DeToNator.KOREA. Do they have somewhere to be? They seem like they're in a hurry.
Yeah, they're trying to get to. They're trying to just.
Trying to get to playoffs
early. They just want to get the trophy. Not even just the playoffs. Like just send us to the grand final.
yeah, just, without Modern.
If anyone else dies, they just don't even have enough players to play. Run out of players.
They just bench everyone whenever they die. Yeah, that's, that was the cute cap there over from Panties in that particular instance. But, I mean, yeah, it only, I think it was, what, 6% total that they got? So it's like, technically, they didn't get completely shut out.
That is technically also a better performance than some teams have had against DeToNator.KOREA on the same map. So
you're not wrong.
At least the smiles are up. Looks like the morale boost works for both teams.
Here's the reality though. Like, this is a team that knows no matter what happens, they don't go to playoffs. Like, these teams are still going to play their darndest. I would say especially DeToNator.KOREA, like I said, because you don't want to have any weaknesses exposed at this kind of final juncture just before you go into playoffs. But it is good to see the smiles all around. It is good to see that the positive attitude is there.
And also, you know, for some of these teams,
the coach is talking to Modern like, all right, fix it up, buddy. I've got it, like showing them the plane itinerary, like. Just...
Yeah, Coach Sungwoo in the back there with everyone's plane ticket ready to go. Like, you're out of here.
It's like, oh, you betcha. It's like when your dad is like, so help me, I will turn this car around. But he never did until that one time. And then, oh boy.
It seemed like there was maybe some issue with Daheen's computer there.
He's like,
good to see
6% on the point. What's that all about?
Good to also see. Yeah, is there a glitch here?
Should that be a 0? What's going on? Says we're only 1-0. We're not done yet.
Let me align to Blizzard support over here. What's going on? Also good to see Fu-chan, their manager / translator, back. If you remember, she was a part of the DeToNator team as DeToNator Gold back in season 1 of OWC. So, you know, a long stay.
Back in the Jurassic period. Feels like a long time ago because DeToNator, I mean, after getting relegated from that season, they rebuilt the roster as DeToNator.KOREA. Didn't quite qualify for season 2.
They just had a new roster.
Yeah,
DeToNator Gold still existed.
Right.
So they had 2 rosters.
But at any rate, DeToNator.KOREA didn't quite qualify for season 2. They finally kind of made it in here and like in spectacular fashion, right?
And also is a completely different roster to the original DeToNator.KOREA roster that was literally 6 different people.
And you know what? This isn't even their final form.
Because who's going to be in to replace Modern?
It's going to be great. It's going to be post-Modern.
Yeah. My God. Wow.
I want I'm not gonna systematically do this for everyone, but like you could just do that thing where like you slightly swap them out, like Comanche.
Comanche.
Like, I don't know. Did you ever watch that cartoon show Recess?
Yeah.
I love that show, but I always remember that one episode where they went to like another nearby school, and it was like they went to like, I can't remember the exact number of the school because in America you don't call schools things, you just give them a number. It was like 37, it was like the kids over at like the 38th or something or other, and like they had just like their friend group, but everyone was like slightly different. Like instead of the main guy being TJ Detweiler, it was this girl called like CJ Rottweiler, like, and that was the whole gimmick. That was the whole episode. It was just like, there was just like another group of people that were the exact same, but like a slightly different name. Yeah, yeah. It was, and like dressed pretty much the same. It was like palette swap. It was like skins on a hero, only also a different name. Instead of like, it's like Beaver instead of Diva. Well,
with that,
that's my cartoon trivia for the night, guys.
It is. I don't have a follow-up to Recess.
You know what I re-saw just recently? This popped up on my Facebook feed recently, and I ended up totally binge watching it immediately after this. Was the Angry Beavers? Remember the Angry Beavers?
I do.
That was a blast from the past. Like the opening, it was just like a clip of like the opening theme tune with like the jaunty trumpets and everything. Like, oh man, that is a tune right there. Like, what a banger.
And I'll tell you what, this is when I knew I grew up. I knew I got too old for that when I watched Rocko's Modern Life, and I hated it because it was just, it was too silly for me. I got too mature. And, you know, as a 23-year-old, I shouldn't be watching it.
That was the day you filed your taxes for the first time. The age of 9. Got like, Mom, cartoons aren't fun anymore. She's like, all right, here you go. Calculator, IRD form, like, whoosh. Oh, man. We are still currently underway with a bit of a pause. It appears we do maybe have some technical issues with Daheem's computer. It has been the win so far for DeToNator.KOREA, which does mean Bazaar going to get the map pick as we go onto Hybrid. Pick has come through just now as well, which I believe means we will get things underway through this pause. Pick is going to be Numbani.
And this is somewhat of an expected pick from Bazaar, as we sort of remember, take a trip back down memory lane. It was on the specific map that they got that sneak win against Talon that forced Talon to get that very first map loss. Instead of an 8-0 for Talon, they had to settle with a 7-1, and it happened on this map. So crazy Numbani, that began here when Bazaar took Talon on. Now they're going to take on the other Korean team in this specific group, DeToNator.KOREA, but can they bring that magic again?
I mean, difference being, right, Talon finished the season in 4th and DeToNator.KOREA finishing it in 1st. I mean, the record kind of speaks for itself. Quite like going down memory lane, by the way. But like, as you know, pleasant sights, then like you kind of look down that dark alleyway of like some really cringy, like, ooh, maybe not there. Like you lie awake at night and just remember all the stupid things you've said. Like that just now on a broadcast that is immortalized forever on the internet.
Yeah.
I'll see myself out.
That's a shame.
I'll get on the play with Modern. If he doesn't go, I'll take his.
Trade plate? You'll trade plate?
Yeah, yeah. I'll go.
Next week I'm cast with Modern and
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go. Well, I was gonna say I'll go live his life in Korea.
He's in Taiwan right now.
Well, yeah, but if he gets sent home, he won't be. Not that he's actually going to get sent home, by the way. I really hope no one takes this seriously. Like, we're not actually saying Modern is going to get benched if he doesn't do well enough. It is going to be, as well, DeToNator choosing to go attack first, so a little bit different. Oh, hold on, hold on a second. No, those are swapped around. It is actually Bazaar.
No, you're
on
very
the attack
right. That is very right. I was going to say, though, if DeToNator.KOREA wanted to attack first, that also wouldn't be too crazy because it would technically give them more play time. However, but they may not necessarily want more play time either.
Defending first means ideally you get that point A hold, then you need only cap a third on your own offense. So that makes the most sense here. So just to be clear, the tiles are incorrect right now. It is Bazaar on the red side currently attacking DeToNator.KOREA in blue on the defense, and it is DeToNator.KOREA with the 1 map win so far if you just tuning in.
Because otherwise you could see, look, Bazaar is really winning against DeToNator.KOREA right now. That fantasy could have been true at least for some time, but right now...
looks like we're getting that swapped up just now, and that first defense already kind of sliding the way here of DeToNator.KOREA. Not without some answers, though. DeToNator, we do know what he can do on this Genji, but it's going to need to be a little bit more than just the one pick on Modern. Turns out it is going to be Modern getting benched, though. I mean, he's the only one to die.
But in all seriousness, I did say this about Bumbarappa as well, who is the other tank on the other side. And the thing about playing that main tank role is, I mean, it kind of is also just your job to die. If you die, and I don't mean in a stupid way.
You die at the right time, you've done your job.
Dying at the correct time to protect certain teammates to stop them from dying is definitely the job of the main tank right there. So it's sometimes, oftentimes even a thankless role, but I'll thank you, Modern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Bless him. Papa Modern. Well, Bazaar already kind of lining up for this next push, but the pressure,
oh boy,
right out into a rocket barrage. Does get answered, so not quite getting the full mileage. And a kill onto Modern again, unsurprisingly. Krong as well, not going to be able to get back into that mech. They do get the res on Modern here, but Bazaar, they should be able to take control of this fight here. They've got some resources they can still kind of use here. Losing panties, though, kind of hurts them. They actually should just commit these ultimates before it's too late for them. They've got the sound barrier from Zombie. I want to see them use these, make it stick, get it over the line.
Because right now with Sleepy Bear down, still respawning with a sound barrier, Bazaar have that advantage. They get the barrier first, now they get to have some positioning onto A. In fact, they're threatening that first take. If they can get that first take, maybe then they can get that second one by getting more kills.
Sleepy Bear did come back in, though. Of course, the respawns are quicker for DeToNator.KOREA here. And unfortunately, Bazaar, they didn't press the go button quick enough. Bumbarappa ulted very late in that one. Sadistic, smart to not use the self-destruct there, to be sure. Or perhaps he did, actually, because he currently has the ultimate available while in the respawn room. And also, we saw that quite late sound barrier come out. It's just a shame how it all fell.
To be honest, though, you wouldn't mind a late sound barrier as long as you get the value, and I do believe the value was there for Bazaar, but unfortunately, they couldn't get kills while they're sound barriered, and I know part of getting value is also getting kills, but the other part of value is making sure all members have that sound barrier, or as many as possible, and you are denying as much damage from the other side as possible, and at least that half was covered. The other half, unfortunately, still needs to happen.
Now only about a minute left on the defense here. Bazaar rotating into some pretty high impact ultimates, though. I mean, to say nothing of the macro game in general, but once again, if the execution can be there, that's a good visor to knock Apache, who had the Valkyrie, but shut down by the rocket barrage. Going to be able to get a little bit more damage out as well. This gets mitigated, though. The Sadistic gets the self-destruct in. Blitz did also go down, and they were able to fully get Krong out of the picture. Amazingly, it's Modern alive at the end of the fight this time around, but this one should be the one that Bazaar used to cap point A.
And actually, DeToNator.KOREA may be moving for a potential give-up here. Now, they do look like they want to defend.
They want to.
Had already changed onto a Sombra. Modern went down super fast.
Rez straight away, but Apache makes himself vulnerable to do so, and that means he goes down instead. So, DeToNator, they've committed to this fight. But they're getting the kills through. I was going to say they need to get some high-impact catches, but dropping both the healers. Nutsuno-sama did at least trade with Krong, but that's a trade that favors DeToNator. They're going to stabilize here. I don't think Bazaar are going to cap this out. They're out of time.
And Zombie also died with the Valkyrie as well. The timer ticks down. The final members of Bazaar trying to get back onto the point, realizing they can't even leave right now.
Oh, man. That's a little bit of a heartbreak slider at the end there. Zombie as well going to try and fly in. And Panny's, he's just happy to be here. Transcendence is going to run out. He knows he has to straight back off. Tsunosama is dead. This is just trickle on at this point out of Bazaar, unfortunately. No real way to get ahead in the fight. And I mean, DeToNator.KOREA were absolutely correct to go for that contest there. It's not often we see it work in such spectacular fashion as there, but That's why you go for that. If you lose it at that point, you still get to reset in time for B. It's not that big a deal.
But the other thing is, DeToNator Korea were fully prepared to set up for B, and fully prepared to potentially give up that A point and go to that B defense. You saw Blitz already changing off his preferred A defense hero, which was Tafara, go onto a Sombra, which would have been his preferred hero for B. They had that plan ready, and it sort of feeds into what you were saying by that. If DeToNator Korea could not secure that A defense, if they had to go into B, they're already ahead of the curve. They do not then have to change heroes.
Yeah.
They are already on the heroes which they want to defend B with. And off that defense, you nearly saw Blitz charge an EMP, so you could tell they were very ready.
That's the thing. You do give yourself slightly less of a chance of winning the fight on that defense, that sort of, I don't want to call it desperation defense, because it's not like they're backed up against the wall, but that kind of last ditch throw in there just in case. Last attempt, yeah. The thing is, though, you're generally not favored to win that one anyway. By that point, the attacking team is more set up on the point. You're the one kind of trickling, diving in, so it's not that big a difference. And in the case of DeToNator, they were confident enough to do it. It makes sense.
Well, the difference is, and I don't think it's necessarily true to say that you're not favored, but it's you are still favored if you have ultimate advantages, if you group up in time. You're not favored if you're running too much out of time and members have to dive on one by one to get that trickle, like you're saying. But DeToNator Korea wasn't really the case. They had all 6 members available. They went for the dive in. Now, Modern did get killed pretty quickly. So that was the one little hiccup. They couldn't quite survive. Maybe Krong just didn't have the Matrix on him in time or in the right place, but he was res. Then they were able to get the other kills. Self-destruct from Krong as well, securing important members like Nitsuno-sama on Bazaar. And that shut down Bazaar. Yeah,
it's the compositional play that came in there that's the sort of commendable part of that. It's the discipline, you know, to not go, no, we'd rather have this other comp because we're still defending point A. It's being willing to give it up, and now guess you can't give it up at all as Bazaar, so they kind of just have to stick in this one for good. And wow, with that dive already deep on Bombarapa, they're kind of working overtime just to have to keep him topped up, and that gives DeToNator Korea presence on the point.
And already nearly getting one tick. Bazaar have to just storm out to prevent this right now. They were completely held up in blue walls. And the thing is, because Bazaar fell back so much, they had to walk out of a choke point that DeToNator Korea running an AoE damage like Blitz completely take advantage of.
Zombie tried to get a bio grenade out on a bunch of members of DeToNator Korea there while healing up his tanks, but unfortunately it went wide on Bombarapa and it didn't quite get the connections on the members of DeToNator Korea. That's going to be kind of the one fight wonder. Bombarapa, this is that trickle on that we were talking about a moment ago. That was Bazaar speedrunning.
And that's the difference between that and what DeToNator Korea did, was that DeToNator Korea had lost members, I would say. They didn't lose all their members to start with. They lost a few members. The rest of them had backed off in time to wait for said respawners. But for this, Bazaar got fully team-wiped. Blitz went forward a little bit, tried to get some early damage, did cop a little bit of damage back, but then the Valkyrie came into play immediately, and that was kind of all she wrote. I mean, Bombarapa tried to make his way in, failed similarly to Modern, but the rest of the team were not in place. Not like the way DeToNator Korea were.
I mean, this isn't too unexpected either. We do have to be completely fair about this. I would like to see a bit more out of Bazaar, though, because we are even seeing, you know, there are times where they've got the ultimates available. You know, they're relatively even coming into fights, and even then the execution just isn't quite there. I mean, this is to say nothing of the macro game, because truly they've yet to be in a situation where they've even been able to consider playing much of a macro game. Like, they haven't even got past that point of just executing with what they've got.
Well, I think the positive for Bazaar, as we just take a look at the current standings, 2-0, is the fact that for Bazaar, there were some moments on that Numbani A attack where, to be honest, they were ahead in ultimates over DeToNator Korea. Now, they were doing reasonable damage, but they couldn't quite secure enough members to complete the cap. They couldn't stop that final attempt from DeToNator Korea, so when it really counted, DeToNator Korea were able to rebuff Bazaar, but not without losses. Now, that is the first time that we've really seen DeToNator Korea lose a fight hard enough that they have to reset, that they have to wait for respawners. This is the first true and genuine fight that Bazaar have won, so we are seeing something.
It's something. Exactly, but it's just something that they only got the once. It's something that took quite a lot of time. We're absolutely not wrong to say, like, yes, this is an improvement. It absolutely is, and I want to see more. Like, there's still 2 whole maps to come. We will see further progression out of this team, to be sure. And again, we have to go back to the notion, like, this is not at all the unexpected position. This is the first place finisher versus the last place finisher. That is the gulf between these two teams. And I suppose for Bazaar, it shows what they need to be hitting if they want to do better maybe next time around.
And we'll have to see what Bazaar will be hitting when we come back from the break. DeToNator.KOREA and Bazaar will continue with the final 2 or 3 maps right after this break.